there, it's Terry from the Quarter Acre. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. I am enjoying this awesome time in summer where we're finally into the swing of relaxing and not being super overscheduled. And we're just enjoying all the fun summer activities, barbecues and pool time, and our fruit trees are coming ripe. We've got apricots and nectarines and it's awesome. But it's also a fun time because it's almost back to school time. We have about 5 weeks until we hit the ground running for the 2021-2022 school year. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how I prepare for back to school. So the first thing is I order all my curriculum way in advance, or at least most of my curriculum. So all of that was ordered back in January. I've already done reviews on what we're using this year. You can find them here on our YouTube channel, The Quarter Acre. But there's still a lot of prep work to be done because at the end of every year, I pull down my entire classroom, which consists of our dining room and a few things in our living room. But I like to tuck that all away for summer so that the kids don't have it all up. One, because it would give my son anxiety. He needs to fully enjoy his summer without the pressures of school. And two, it would make it less special if it was up all the time. So all that is put away. I have all the curriculum, but I need to prep everything for the year. How am I going to get all this done? I'm going to tell you how. So the first step is grab a cup of something that makes you feel good, whether that is a warm cup of coffee, an iced coffee, some tea, a glass of wine. Today I'm working with diet ginger ale. Next step is sit down with your pencil and your piece of paper and make a list of what worked and what didn't. 2 columns right down the middle, just kind of like a pros and cons list for your homeschool. We all have things that we think are going to work out, are going to be fantastic, and maybe they didn't pan out quite the way you wanted them to. Or we have things that we didn't think were going to be successful or that we found along the way that we really want to incorporate in the future. If this is your first year homeschooling, think back to your kids' public school, or to things that you have done in the past or things you've seen other families do. I'm sure you can find some wins and some areas of improvement that you can work on. Next is set a deadline. So set your first day of school, but set yourself a deadline to be prepared in advance of that. If you're finishing up putting together the last bits of your curriculum for the year the night before school starts, that's going to be a stressful way to start the year. So what I do is I give myself a back to school night. The Monday, 1 week before we start, is my back to school night. I make it a special event for the kids, and I know that I have to have everything ready and done by back to school night. And then it gives us that last week of summer before school starts to just kind of soak it in. And the next thing is going to be start using your planner now. So I live by my Well Planned Gal planner. You can see my review here on the Quarter Acre on YouTube. It's everything. And it runs June through July. So I set up my planner, and I now am forming the habit of getting my coffee and going every morning to my planner, jotting things down in my planner, making sure that everything is there so that it's already a habit by the time school starts, and I'm not having to try to retrain my brain to use my planner on top of starting school. Next step is chunk it out. So it is overwhelming. I made a list of all the subjects my kiddos study throughout the year. And English, math, music, health, history, Spanish, science, handwriting, typing, art. We have library, social studies, and nature study. That's a lot. I'm not going to be able to sit down in one day and get this all done for the year. I would burn out. So I grabbed a cup of coffee and sat down, and I did their whole history for the whole year. And the reason I did that was because when I was writing down my list of what worked and what didn't work for me last year was I was doing 1/4 of prep work at a time. First quarter, that worked great. I was so excited. It was, July, and I put it all together for the first 10 weeks of school. And then after that first quarter, we'd had so much success. I was so motivated. I put the second quarter together for their history curriculum. And then after Christmas, when it was time to start third quarter, I was completely drained. And I totally dialed it in. I was like, which projects are the easiest? Yeah, that. Bare minimum, yeah, that. Because I was drained. Did we still have a successful third quarter? Yes. Did we have a successful fourth quarter? Yes. Were they as successful as first and second? Did I have all that energy when I was planning? Absolutely not. So that went in my fail column. And this year I changed it by saying, you know what? I'm going to take the extra hour or two that it's going to take to prep the history. And guess what? I was able to do the entire history notebook, all the prep for our Story of the World Volume 3 that we're using this year. I was able to prep my daughter's history binder for the year completely and my son's in about an hour and a half. Like, seriously. Now I don't have to worry about doing that again for the entire year. Every project is picked out, everything is set. The only thing I have to do is at the beginning of each quarter, I will do my like Dollar Tree shopping spree and I will fill my little bins with all the supplies we need to complete the projects. Like, that's literally it for the whole year. I don't have to make copies, I don't have to hole punch anything, I don't have to laminate anything, I don't have to bind anything. It's all done. That is a great feeling. And it took way less time than if I was chunking it out over the course of the 4 quarters. So consider that when you look at chunking things out. But when I was done with history, I was done. Next, I said, okay, by the end of the week, I want to get their language arts and their math books. I want to review the first chapters and then get them put into their bins. That's like half hour. And by just slowly chunking things out like that and crossing them off my list, I can get everything done in the next 5 weeks in an easy way. The next step is enjoying your prep. So when I sat down with my kids' history curriculum, I got all the books out. I made sure the table was cleared off, except for the pretty centerpiece. Pushed that back a little bit, got my coffee there, and I didn't turn on the bright overhead light. I kept it dim. I waited till they were outside with their dad harvesting fruit. And I just made it feel a little bit like more like me time. I put on some nice smelly lotion, like for a little aromatherapy. You could light a candle. Make prep time you time. A lot of times I'll wait till everybody goes to bed to prep, or I'll get up super early in the morning before everybody else, and just when it's quiet, I can focus, I can concentrate, I'm not hurried. And I try to do something special to take care of myself while I do it, like a fancy smelling lotion, putting in a Scentsy cube, or which is like a wax warmer, or lighting a candle, or making myself a special snack for while I prepare it. So make prep time really enjoyable for you. Make it you time. All right, next step for back to school getting ready is treat yourself and your kids to some fun school supplies. So one of the things I loved about back to school time when I was a kid in public school was the back to school shopping. So I would always get a new outfit. My mom would get me a new backpack and all the supplies, and it was just this whole experience. And I would always do that with my kiddos. I still do, even though we're homeschooled. So I will take them in and let them pick out a few school supplies. I know what we need for the classroom, but what's something neat they would like? Is it fun erasers, or pencil toppers, or crazy pencils, or smelly markers, or something? Their own like crazy pencil box with a character on it. Something that they can enjoy. And then I get something for me too, because guess what? I'm the teacher. I would always buy my kids public school teachers gifts. So now I get to get one for myself. Whether it's a fun mug, like I turn coffee into education, or some pencils that are distinctly mine with like pretty pastels and woodland creatures on them. Whatever it is, treat yourself to something that's going to brighten your day. All right, next up is make it an experience. Back to school should be an experience. Like I was saying before, I remember the back to school shopping and it being this special time with my mom. So when I had kids, I was like, I want to do something special. I want to add some sort of tradition. And so on back to school night, we would always go to Denny's. It happened the first time just by coincidence. But then we were like, we should do this every year. And so every year for 6 years, we would do back to school night, and either before or after, depending on the time slot, we would go to Denny's for dinner. The kids loved it. So guess what? We still have back to school night where I have everything ready and I bring them and their dad in and we talk about the fun of the year and they get to look at all of their new curriculum and stuff and put their new school supplies in their desk or desk. It's, the cool bins from Michael's. But we call them their desks. And all of that, we have that back to school night. And then we'll get Denny's. It may be takeout this year because of all the craziness in the world, but we'll get Denny's. Make sure that you have those special things in place. We still do the chalkboard that says, I'm in this grade, I'm this tall, my favorite books are this. We do that, and we post it on Facebook, so it shows up in my memories and makes me cry for years to come. They take pictures with the school mascot, which happens to be our chickens. And it's just fun. Make sure that it is an event, an experience. Think about what you, as the teacher, you are mom, but you are a teacher now. You are a teacher. And you get to make your own traditions. Maybe it's that you get up early that morning and you make yourself a breakfast and you put on full makeup and you show up to the first day of school as if you are a teacher in the classroom. Maybe you get a new outfit for back to school. Do something to make it special. Make it an event. Make it an experience. And then the last thing to consider when you're getting ready for back to school is keeping things consistent, but keeping them fresh. So, for instance, if you look on your what worked column and your schedule from last year worked really well, the way you broke things down, keep that. Keep that schedule. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every year if it's working for you. It's okay to reinvent if it stops working. If the wheels start falling off the bus, pull over, rotate them, and let's keep moving. But you don't have to reinvent everything. Consistency is great for a kid's cognitive development, but make sure that you're keeping things fresh. So let's say you've got some math games and manipulatives that you used last year. You don't need to scrap those and get a whole new fresh set every year with new games and new things to keep the kids interested. You can get one new math game, maybe one new manipulative or a new set of flashcards, and put that into the mix and rotate things through. So instead of having everything available all the time in your homeschool, put some things away. My kids know that the stuff in the credenza is not theirs to go through, that I will pull things out and we will use it as I see fit. And so they may have Play-Doh out for a while, and then it may go away and they may get Floam. Do you guys remember Floam? It's not really technically called Floam anymore, but it's those little styrofoam balls that stick together with slimy stuff. But yeah, and they may have Tanagrams for fun Friday math activities for a couple weeks, and then it may switch out to the allowance game, and then it'll go back and around, and then 3 months later it'll come back to the allowance game and Tanagrams, and they'll be like, oh, we love this. It's like it's brand new. Switching things out, keeping things fresh by putting them away and then bringing them back out while maintaining consistency is awesome. And it makes the kids engaged and interested, and it doesn't seem monotonous or boring, and it still gives them the consistency that they crave, because kids really do crave consistency. So those are just some of my back to school prep tips, some things that I like to consider when I am getting ready for back to school. What are your back to school tips? What are your must-have nuggets of wisdom that you want to share with all of us here on the Quarter Acre? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that red someday I'm going to say that right the first time. Hit that red subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future content from the Quarter Acres. We've got so much coming down the pipeline now that we're starting a new school year that I would just love to share with you. Lots of curriculum reviews, lots of how-tos, lots of Q&As and things like that. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you again soon. Happy homeschooling and be blessed.